Over the years, I've always been searching for a small, quiet vacuum. Why? Because I don't need to take up a lot of space to store a vacuum that's basically going to take care of cars, get into the house for little situations, not big ones for sure, and just be around. I don't need a huge vacuum for it, but I don't want one that when I turn it on, it just absolutely screams. Now, this is the Ecomax 5-gallon. It is a 4 horsepower motor on the inside, stainless steel tub, 59 bucks. Now the reason I'm looking at this might be a little different because how can I tell you this is made by the same people that makes the DeWalt Stelsonic without actually saying it? Take a look at this hose. This is from the 9-gallon DeWalt Stelsonic. This hose here is a 1¼ inch hose that's about 5 foot long on this. I can just take the DeWalt Stelsonic hose, plug it in. So long story short, if you wanted different accessories for this, this will take the same ones as the aforementioned one, which is interesting to me, right? So this is made by Alton Industries, and they have a whole line of DIY or budget-friendly tools. And at $59 for a stainless steel setup, it's pretty good. The kicker of it is it can also be a blower. So if I turn this guy around in the back, we can use this as a blower, which is great for home use. And it's not so great for noise, so let's just turn it on. It's not horrible, and that's kind of what I like. It is not DeWalt Stelsonic quiet, but for a small vacuum, it's not horrible. So the first thing I want to look at, is it affordable? $59, yes. Can I get a much larger DeWalt Stelsonic for not much more? Yes, it's a matter of what you're looking for, right? Does everything store in here well? That's something I look at. Yeah, we can store just about everything that it comes with, except this hose. This hose doesn't really have a place here to go. There's no, I mean, you can make that happen, but there's no little nylon strap or anything that's gonna put it in. So that's kind of maybe one ding for it. We have a 10-foot, 18-gauge cord. Not bad. The cord on this is pretty long. This, however, being 5 foot, kind of limits you a little bit. If we look at the inside of this guy, remember, DIY, right? So the tub, very nice, easy to clean out. That should last a lifetime. Filter changes on this. Somebody's gonna come up and say, you know what? I dislike this filter. And I get it because I feel the same way, but this is cheap. For the DIY guy, this is incredibly affordable because this basically covers a foam filter. So you take this off and then you have this incredibly sticky cover. This cover is the filter. So back in the day, I used to have a Craftsman, and once we did some drywall use with it, this filter was absolutely horrible. I mean, it would stand on its own. It was bad. It was at the point where it couldn't be reused because I just washed this. It was simple, right? Who cares? But you got to the point where you couldn't reuse it. I just took a t-shirt and said, okay, well, this might suffer with some of the CFMs a little bit, but at the same point, it was affordable. I wasn't gonna go out and try to buy a new one of these. I think at that point in time, they were stupid crazy. We're going back a ways. It was just easy. So all I did was put a t-shirt over it, and it was good enough for many, many years afterwards because I could, again, just rinse out, wash that t-shirt, put it back over, life was good. So the filter on this, you may love it, you may hate it, $59, doesn't matter. Put a t-shirt over it, do whatever you want. You buy their filter, it's not crazy expensive anymore. That's just something that is noted with this. As far as how it goes together, super simple. It doesn't matter where you put this, you can put it anywhere, snaps in. Handle on top is also a cord reel, so that's great. Moves around easy and it's small. I like that. Does it work well? Let's go test that out. In my DIY world, this is going to be used mostly in cars, right? So we open the door and we want to be able to get in here and do some things. Now this is a truck, obviously car is going to be a little less, but to get to the center of the console, not going to happen. I can get all the way around the floor mat, but I can't reach in without having to lift this up. Is it super heavy to lift up? No, I just wish they put another foot or two on this cord or hose. It would have been incredibly simple to get in and get everywhere. Now let's turn this guy on. There's not a lot of room for both of us in here, but we'll make it work. cool part about this, I guess, to me, is you have a small vacuum and it's not loud in the vehicle. I mean, obviously the hose is always going to give you some noise. I don't feel like earplugs are a necessity, although they wouldn't hurt. It's not because of the noise, it's just because of constant. It's not over 88 decibels, that's for sure, although we'll test that out. As far as the amount of suction, pretty good. You know, for what it is, 60 bucks, this thing rocks. So we all know that when we're looking at this stuff, basically here, this is considered 5 gallon. But when you look at a 5 gallon bucket, the difference between the two is significant. And when we're really gonna go after this, it's not 5 gallon. So besides the amount that Libby has drank here, why don't you move over? We're gonna take care of this. Let's just see how much this actually sucks up. And we're full at that point. Obviously, we still have some in the hose, and we have a little bit coming out. It's worth showing what is in the hose or is there. So there is an amount that's going to drain out afterwards. The hose would have held that in. Go ahead, Libs. If we take a look at the inside, which here's what I like about this filter. I left it on. Who cares, right? Because it didn't matter. Might have slowed it down slightly, but I can take this off and dry it. Underneath it was a foam filter, whatever. So with that said, watch out, girl, watch out. It fills up to that line. We have, let's just say, 1.5 gallons left. No issue. Inside here, we probably have 3.5 gallons. A little bit was in that hose. But take a look at that. Nice and clean. That's what I like about the stainless steel part. Plastic works great too, but at the same point, this is nice. If you watch this channel often, you'll see my dog in here quite a bit, but not so much probably in the last couple of years. Well, Libby is going on 9 years old, or coming up on it fairly soon, and she's had cancer for the last 3. So if she gets in a video and wants to drink some water and do whatever, she's got a free hall pass to do whatever. She's heavily medicated. Doing well with cancer, but still has it. So we don't know how long she's got left. Doctors gave her 2.5 weeks to maybe a month 3 years ago, coming up on Thanksgiving. So still kicking. She can drink that water all she wants. So let's go through this guy. 121 volts is what I'm getting off this extension cord here. We're just gonna kick this guy on and look at the watts. 885 watts. Obviously, somebody asked me for amps. They didn't want to do the calculation. 7.75. So that's interesting to me as far as how many watts it takes up. So, or amps, whatever you want to call that. So not perfect as far as the size, but that tells you a little bit about the power. 4 horsepower. Peak as far as you're looking at it, so this is going to be close to a 5 horsepower, although when we look at how fast it moved the water, it wasn't that fast, and most of that's going to be in that hose size. 1.25 inch is definitely not going to do it. So we're going to have to shut up here and look at the decibel meter. So I seen that bouncing anywhere between 71 and 75. I would say it was pretty average at 73. Not too horrible for this and its size. For $59, this does come with a bag. And if you wanted to buy more, you can. They're made by Alton Industries. The bag fits inside. It's going to take up some of the suction. Not a bad idea. If you're looking at it, you have 3 of these extension wands that can be put together to make that longer. Although in a car, that is not going to do you any good. With that said, if you're in the house or doing stairs, it very well may. You also have 2 floor nozzles. We have one stuck down here at the bottom and one crevice nozzle. That is attached here at the top. Not bad. Again, we went over the filter, handles good, moves around good. If you're looking for a small vacuum that is built well, stores for the most part an 8 out of 10 compared to most, and has a filter that you can do whatever you please with basically and work with. For most people, that filter is going to last the lifetime of the vacuum, but if you're going to work with drywall or other crazy stuff like that, that might get to a point where you want to replace it. You can do the old t-shirt method, or you can simply buy a new one. Your call. Tell me what you think of this. We don't usually go over budget or DIY tools on this channel, but at the same point, they have some tools coming out that are probably well worth looking at if you're in the home game market and you want to have something that is decent, not overly expensive, but yet still fits the needs and is not super loud. This guy does not have the high-pitched whine that I usually hear from very small vacuums, and that high-pitched whine drives me insane. So if you're in the same market and same feelings about that and you want to have something a little less expensive, this is a ticket. Leave me some comments below. Give us a like in this video. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.